I don't think there's ever a magic formula. And it's not about what I can and will and should do. I think it should be...
There are parts of Western Australia, people who are all the time saying that we don't get the fair share of GST. And GST is a very elusive formula, the way it runs and the way it is distributed. I want you to throw the light in terms of, one is explaining the broad rationale of distribution of dollars, because one is contribution and one is recipients. So there are two ways to look at those things. And people always say that, we are the ones who are making roads in Victoria. We are the one. So all those people who, say all the time those things, West Australians, very proud West Australians say those things. But yes, how do you see that conversation? One is the heart and the mind, both sides.
Yeah, so the redistribution of GST, obviously they meet every few years and have a discussion around it. And it's not just about what you contribute, because there is effectively federal government grants that are provided to states as well, which is considered within the distribution. As everyone is well aware, WA at this point in time is contributing the majority to the GST, obviously through a number of different reasons, but equally economically WA is contributing a lot through the royalties that we obviously receive as well. So I don't think there's ever a magic formula, and it's not about what I can and will and should do. I think it should be, and it's probably very left wing of me to say this, but if you would adopt a similar of Elon Musk's Doge analogy, and you go, okay, this is the pool of money we've got available. As a state, you present your budget to us. We will consider everybody's budgets and we will make an allocation on what we believe will benefit the country as a whole. Because if you pick a project, for example, MetroNet, who's held accountable for the hundreds of millions and billions it goes over budget? Who's held accountable? No one. We just, as taxpayers, it just goes into the folding. And that's where I feel the discussion could be centred around, is a bit of a business piece to it. But it's, if I'm going to give you this money, Dev, to your state, what is it that you're going to contribute to your state and the country, so that we can ensure that dollar goes as far as it possibly can? And if there was an opportunity to reconsider how that would occur, I think that would change everybody's mentality about what I should be entitled to. It should be, what is it that you're going to do for the country?
So you have given me a left-wing solution. Now you give me a right-wing solution, because it has to be balanced in some way or form.
Okay. A more pragmatic avenue.
Okay, so you're saying right-wing is pragmatic.
Yeah. Well, the current process probably is somewhat flawed, and it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because things change all the time. But again, I still believe if you're to adopt some form of budgetary proposition as to how you're going to use that, independent of what it is that you contribute, then that might be a better solution. And if you are to increase the rate of GST, bear in mind there's obviously a bigger pool of money that becomes available. WA has been an emerging state. Victoria, from what I've been told, there's a lot of people leaving in Victoria. So that was, Sydney and Melbourne are powerhouse. The mix is now changing. But I think back to the point, we shouldn't run the country as a business, but we're talking about taxes, which is a form of revenue. And we should be adopting some form of business acumen to dealing with that redistribution of the income.